Welcome back to the Better Everyday podcast, where we're unlocking our best self one episode at a time. My name is Grace Garcia, and this is my wonderful husband, David Garcia.
Hello.
I'm so excited. This week is going to be a fun week.
Mm-hmm.
I have Ariah's birthday is tomorrow, our baby girl. She is turning 5 years old. My birthday's on the weekend. And then we're going to be kind of busy. I feel like we were busy before because of marathon training. And these past couple weeks, I feel like I've been a little bit more calm, like resting, letting our body recover. And then now we're like back into training mode and we're picking up speed with...
I was back last week.
Okay, sorry, he was back last week. I started strength training today. And we're picking up speed, and I feel like it's going to be busy because we are hosting, they call it tribe groups at our church, which is like it's a small group, life group, and we're doing 10 weeks on financial freedom together. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I am excited, a little bit nervous, a little bit of, what's that thing called, imposter syndrome going on, but
yeah,
I just got to shake it off. I know I get that with whatever I do. Like the moment, like I get excited before it, like the
dwells on you?
Yeah, like before like the title is bestowed, like you're going to do this, I'm excited. And then once I get it, I'm still excited, but then slowly I'm just like, Am I the right person for this? Do I have all the information?
Yes,
what if they ask me these questions, whatever? But overall, I am excited. I know it is very necessary. It seems like a lot of people are excited to be a part of it. They are wanting to know more. We did a pre-start survey, which a good amount of people have completed. We have about 30 some odd people joining the group. We did a survey, and it seems like most of the people are seeking knowledge that they feel that they don't have. And it's true. I mean, our schools don't really teach you about money and, just life. Mm-hmm. So I think people are seeking just like to get a good foundation of knowledge to be able to go forth with wisdom with their money.
Yeah, and we had to keep opening it up because it kept getting full until I'm like, David, like this is a lot of people. Like I think he would open up to like 100 if people were willing. And so I am a little worried about the logistics. I'm not gonna lie, but that's crazy. I never would have thought you had imposter syndrome. I feel like you're gonna do amazing. I'll be right there by your side. We've got this.
I get it with everything, but I just. And that's I guess another like little like teachable moment is just sometimes we feel fear or nerves or like we're not good enough or whatever, and we just have to. We'll never know until we actually cross over.
Yeah, it's like push through that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that's what's happening. Anything other updates you want to let our peeps know?
I think that's it.
Yeah, and today I have the lovely honor of picking the topic and kind of leading this conversation because again, we've said this before, but if you haven't heard it or caught on, like we take turns. And so I'm turning 31 on Sunday, which you guys would have watched it the day after. So I'm 31 right now when you're watching this. I know that sounds like that's young. Obviously that's young. I don't know about obviously, but that's young.
That's young. That's young.
But I feel like after your 30s, it's after your 30s, It's just becoming more señora, like you're becoming more elderly. I don't know how to explain it. And so I've been thinking a lot this last week about aging. Like, oh my goodness. 31, I'm gonna be 31, then 32, then my 40. Before I know it, I feel like I got from my 20s to 30s so fast that like 30s to 40s is gonna feel even faster. And I'm looking at my kids and I'm like, they're getting big, which means I'm getting older. And yeah, so I decided let's talk about it. Let's talk about aging. I feel like
it's a good topic.
A lot of people don't talk. Like we had the food conversation with Melody, which again, you guys haven't heard it, go check it out. It'd be like 2 weeks ago now, two videos ago. And there's just certain conversations like that conversation people don't really talk about in the Christian community, and aging. And I feel like everyone goes through it. Everyone deals with it. People have thoughts about it. But for some reason, there's certain things that like, I don't think they're taboo, but just, they're just not made common. And so I feel like this is one of them. And yeah, so let's talk about aging.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's go. Where do you want to start?
Well, you already said 31 for you is young.
Yeah, it's young. I honestly feel like it's maybe 55 plus is old.
And that's where they start giving out senior citizen discounts.
I think that's old. I actually had a conversation with somebody today, which was funny enough.
No way. Because he didn't know
Yeah, I had no idea.
that we were talking about this. I just told him, I think, like an hour ago.
So today I posted something on my stories that said something like, if you run, it slows down your cellular aging significantly. It was a specific data, but let's just call it significantly. And this person reached out and she's like, and walking too, right? Because, you know, I'm too old to run. And she's not that old. I think she's...
Don't say anything.
She's not that old. She's not that old. She's not that old. And and I told her, I'm like, no, you could run. And then she said, whoa, my knees. And then I sent her another post that basically says, people who run have better knees than people who don't. And that goes along with the whole, like, if you don't use it, you lose it. But basically my point is that, you know, like a lot of times we're like, oh man, we're getting old. But the way, I didn't tell her this, but the thought came into my head, which was, if you ask a 60-year-old if you're old, they're going to be like, you're a baby. If you ask a 80-year-old, they're going to, oh, you're just only halfway there. Like, what are you talking about? You know, like that, in that regard, is just a matter of perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And so you think you're young?
Yeah. I mean, I feel young. Tell
them how old you are.
I'm 36. Yeah, I'm 36. I don't feel old. I think the only way that I kind of feel old is where my brain wants to do something that my body can't keep up with. So in regards to like running or whatever, like the last reason why I got the injury was because I was pushing it. I was pushing it hard, and my brain's like, I could do this. And I think my body at the end of that one run that I had was like, dude, like, no, like we're not there yet, you know? And that could be like a whole thought of just, you know, like you're going faster than you should. You need to like ramp up, you know, have to be safe. You have to know your body, whatever. But that's honestly like the only way that I kind of feel old is like you become a little more conscious of how much longer that your body takes to recover. Like when you're in your teens or your 20s, like you feel like you do like something really hard, like play a really hard game of soccer or whatever one day, and the next day you could play another game. Like, or some people play 2 games on the same day and you're just like, oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you become more conscious of like, no, this is going to take me a little bit longer to recover from. So like, let me ease into this or whatever. Let me be smart about this, because at this point, I feel like in your teens and in your 20s, you really think about more. It's more of like you feel youthful, you feel unstoppable. But in your 30s, you start like really taking it in of like, oh no, like we got to start worrying about the longevity of this. Like we got to start worrying about, you know, our 60s and 70s and 80s or whatever. Like what is our life going to look like? So how can we get there as healthy as possible? And it's not going to be with the same mentality that you had when you were in your teens or your 20s. So I think that's the only way that I kind of like feel a little bit old. But again, I don't feel old where I feel slow or sluggish or whatever. It's just a matter of being conscious of like, okay, I need to be smart. I have to be smart. And I think that's what happens with age. And I think, I mean, we always talk about it between me and you, and we have lately been telling more and more people, like, I feel like people mentally mature at the age of 30.
Yeah.
30 is like the sweet spot where like all the craziness is starting to like fade away, and you start thinking about, okay, how am I actually going to settle down? What am I going to do to make something of myself? How am I going to plan for the future? Like you start slowing down. You start really like focusing in, and you're just like, okay, it's time to like really strap on the boots and be mature.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I noticed with age as well, and I'm gonna let you talk after this, I promise. And the other thing that I've noticed with age as well is a slowness to like, I'm just gonna call it stupidity, like a slowness to you start to realize like things that used to make you mad or used to like really fight about and used to like want to like throw punches at, you're just like, that's not really worth it anymore. Like, why would I do that? Like, that's a waste of my time. Like, you start really budgeting your energy, and you're budgeting your time, and budgeting your effort as well.
Those are good, I guess, viewpoints of like, how does it feel getting old mentally, physically, and things like that. I think the difference between me and you, because you've always said that you are a child at heart and you always have felt like youthful.
I will always be child at heart. Yes.
And I feel like it's like a huge difference. Like, you know how they say we marry our opposites in that regard? We're complete opposites. I always felt like an old soul. Like I always felt older than my age. I always felt like I could connect. Like I would look at the people my age and I'd be like, they're like, their priorities are all in the wrong like spot, you know? And I was always a few years ahead. And when I would talk to older people, I would be like, oh yeah, like I relate. And then I wanted to be in the older conversations with adults. Like while kids were playing around, I'd try to be in my parents' like lap, and they'd be like, this is an adult conversation. Like you need to go. And I'd be like, no, like I just, like those things always were intriguing to me. Mm-hmm. And so I always felt like old soul. And when people talk, they'd be like, oh, and they wouldn't say like, oh, I thought you were older because of your age, but like because the way you act, like the way you carry yourself. Like I always gave off an older vibe. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until recently where I'm like, my body then starts feeling, I always felt older, but then my body, when like things I noticed was going on rides. I love rides. And then before I could eat anything, go on a ride, feel fine. Then it's like my head hurts. Like I'm nauseous. Like what the heck? Like I would have never before. I'm like, why is my head hurting? Like I just went on like one ride, and then it's like, oh, I think it's the age. Like my body's like, what the heck are you doing? And then thankfully with working out right now, I haven't felt old. I've been feeling like young. Like I could do this. Like I kind of like unstoppable. I think my mind has been more hesitant, and then my body doesn't. It's like, wait, you can do it. And I kind of surprised myself. But especially what you said, I thought in the beginning it was a given of like, when you age, you are going to be more mature, more understanding, more, how you said, like conscious of your time and using it wise. But the reality is like how we said, like you have to be intentional with, are you getting there? I don't think from one day to another, because you wake up older, you'll be there. Like hopefully everyone's going to that pace. Mm-hmm. But I think I've seen it with grandparents, with like older friends that we have, where we're just like, your rationale is sounding like a young kid and it doesn't make sense, like the way you think, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to be super specific without giving away, but I hope you understand what I'm like trying to say. And so there are certain things where we have to be intentional, how we said with your fitness. Like, okay, we're going to get older. It doesn't mean we're going to live a long life. Like, God willing, we can. And so what am I doing now to prepare myself? And same thing with our mind. Like, I want to be more understanding, more sympathetic. I don't want to grow old and bitter. Like, you always hear about those people that just look at everyone with a stank face. Like, children come over and they're like, oh, they're so loud. Like, control your kids. Like, I want to be happy. And so it's like, what am I doing now? And I did notice a shift, as you were talking about, like in my 30s. I can't say 30s.
You're barely into your first year of 30.
I can't say 30s. So in my 30-year-old life. No, but I felt like more confident. I was excited because I'm like more wisdom, more, I feel like every year and our marriage has been better. Like we've been accomplishing more. And so I'm like, okay, like I have a good head on my shoulders. I'm not afraid of my like mental sanity or, you know, like I'm proud of how far we've come. And when you stop caring about other people, what people think and things like that, like I become less of a people. I think part of me is always going to have that chip on my shoulder somewhat, which is, I don't think always bad. But when you stop so much being a people pleaser, it does help you. And so I'm excited to see like what more confidence will bring and more wisdom. So that part of aging gets me excited. Like the confidence, our marriage, like, you know, what the time that you spend with God, how he like starts bearing fruit and like seeing the growth in that. I think what I've been thinking about this last week about aging that's getting me worried is like the stupid vain stuff, which is kind of like what I want to talk about. What?
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, you
like
want to talk about your wrinkles and...
Yeah, because I feel like people don't talk about that.
Okay. Well, okay, then you're going to have to really lead this because...
You're confused?
No, I'm not confused, but I started like branching out into all parts of like aging, but like you really want to talk about the superficial stuff, so...
Well, I mean, we could talk about it all, like we did.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm just saying like because again, I'm not worried about... I'm not concerned about the mind or even my body. Right now, I'm like find myself in a place where I'm shocked. Like I can run a marathon. And part of me, I think everyone is going to come to a point where you're just like, I wish I started sooner, right? Whether that's with saving money, whether that's with reading books, working out. Like, yes, the reality is that if I started this in my 20s, I would have been so much farther along and I would have been better by like a lot. But I just started not even a year ago. But it's like all I could do now is take ownership of it and get better every day. And so, yeah, I think being a woman, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to relate because you're a man for the most part.
That's not true.
Oh, well, we could talk about that. But I feel like being a woman in this day and age
in California.
Yeah, and in California is so difficult. Mind you, it was already, I remember when I was a teenager, we like social media, I don't think it was a thing. It was like barely becoming a thing in maybe late high school or like early college, if I remember correctly. We had MySpace and Facebook, but I don't remember being on it like as much as people are now. But you would always compare women, even older women now who didn't have any social media in their teens or until adulthood, always said like magazines, movies, like you're comparing yourself to models, like the comparison's there. And now it's gotten so much worse. And now I feel like it was bad in our generation. I look at my daughter and she's 5, but even kids like channels and stuff like that, the girls, like they're little girls, they're still like skincare and like makeup at such a even younger age that I'm just like, oh my God, the battle I'm gonna have to fight spiritually of like, God, may she feel secure in herself. May she love who she is naturally. Like she has curly hair. And I'm sure like she looks different than me. And I remember I noticed that I looked different than my mom and I thought my mom was like beautiful. And then just like comparing, like, why do I look like this? Why do I not look like that? And you know, like comparing yourself. And so I feel like, yeah, social media, living in California, the day and age, having a daughter of my own. And it's like, I want my daughter to see that her mom's confident because I think that's what helped me a lot. Is like my mom was so beautiful, but she was so simple. Like she was not a girly girl, and she knew that. She was like wanted to be. She's like, I don't like makeup or like shopping, but she took care of herself. And she knew I was like super girly, but I think like she had like this confidence. Like I don't remember ever her stressing out about, oh, I don't like the way I look. And I'm sure she probably went through those thoughts, but she didn't verbalize it. Because I do hear like be careful what you say, how you talk about yourself, how you talk about your weight, how you talk about your skin, because then there's little eyes always on you. And if they see you like that, then they're going to internalize that. And then that's how they talk to themselves or worse. And so thank goodness, I'm sure, again, she dealt with insecurities. And I wish I could have asked her, like, did you deal with insecurities, Mom? Like, how did you go through that? But I think I honestly think she was like one of the most beautiful moms in the world, right? I'm probably biased. And then seeing how she was simple and didn't like stress about it. Like she wore makeup, she got her nails done, she did her hair. Like it's not like she didn't do any of that. But I think gave me like the confidence that I have. But I can always get better at confidence, 100%. And yeah, I think we just live in such a vain society. We live in such a vain society. And so I'm talking a lot. So I'm gonna throw you a question and then we can continue to discuss this. Because I said like, oh, it's mostly women. And then you kind of did a noise. And so you would say like it's vain for men too. I'm assuming you'd think like their muscles and things like that.
Well, before we get to that, you brought up moments of confidence. You brought up worries of the vain. You kind of made it seem like because of the environment that you're in. And then you brought up Araya and how she's young and how she might have to worry about that. And I mean, the first thing that I thought when you're talking about Araya is like, she's going to get her confidence from you. Like if you don't want her to worry about, oh my gosh, my hair is not a certain way, or my skin's not a certain way, or my look, or my height, or my weight, or whatever, like she's going to get that from you. As much as you will show how you are or are not vain is what she's going to receive. I mean, if she sees you with a bunch of makeup, well, what do you think she's going to want to do? If she sees you worrying about, I don't know, like wrinkles or cellulite or whatever, like, what do you think she's going to be looking at in the mirror? Like, oh, do I have that? Like, when am I going to have that? Mm-hmm. So it's going to like, and then I think I might just avoid your question then. Because then the question to you is, why do you worry about it? Like, why do you worry about the wrinkles? Why do you worry about the cellulite? Like, is it a value thing? Is it how people will perceive you, which is still kind of a value thing? Like, what is it that's making you worried about aging, which is normal to anybody? Like whatever you see in Hollywood, like you see Kris Jenner or whatever, that, oh my gosh, she looks like, what's her face is Kim Kardashian's sister. Like, that's all just like an illusion. It's all just, magic. It's all like, it's just smoke and mirrors. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
So like, what is it that's making you worried about how God designed us to be? Like,
well, that's what I was thinking about today. Cause I was like, why is it that women like get kind of fixated on this? And I don't think at least compared to myself to like other, I don't think I get fixated. I think there's moments, like where I have those thoughts, and depending on my mood, I over fixate it. Sometimes I don't think about it at all, and I'm like, what is what it is. And I feel like you can go two different routes, because there was a moment where I was kind of like, how we talk about this pendulum, where I was like, beauty, none of it matters, like makeup, like nothing, like it, just doesn't matter. And the book Captivating by the Eldridges talk about how women value beauty way more than a man. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we have to remember, like, we're made in God's image.
Okay.
And he did not have to make the world beautiful, but like a waterfall, like everyone looks at it, and we say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but there's some things that are like, it's objectively beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like a waterfall, flowers, the sky. And it's like, he didn't have to do that. But when we see beauty, we think, God, you're so wonderful. Like, God, you create. So beauty reminds us of our creator. Beauty reminds us of like his glory, but also beauty. He said, like, why do you think people, when people die, they send flowers? Like, it's like beauty reminds us that all is well. and all will be well. Like when we rest in nature, we're like, we find peace in that and calm and stillness, and there's something like holy about it. And so like there is like something about women's beauty, or about beauty just in general, right? And that's like in the image of God. And so it's not like, don't care about anything like beautiful, like, you know, we just like work or whatever, like for efficiency. Because you could be like, what is the point of just being in beauty and in stillness? It's not efficient. It's not work or whatever. But it just reminds us that all is well and all will be well. And I do think it is now aging, I think is part of like, I guess that could be a debate because it's not like it's my opinion. Like, would you say it's part of the fall? Like, if you see an older woman and a younger woman, most people are going to say the younger woman's beautiful, more beautiful, right? Is it because we were always supposed to have this youth and be like, you know, at our peak? And sin is making us obviously like we have to die. But death wasn't in the cards for us until sin. And so the reality is like, yes, we are going to all die. But is there a reason why we find youth as beautiful as like the standard? Because in us, we know like that's how we wanted it. That's how we want. And so we're like holding on to it. Have you ever thought of that?
No, not at all. And I probably will never think of that.
You're like, I don't care about that.
The reason is because as much as you want to think about that and theologize about that and just like, oh, is it, like, for me, it's like we have the cards dealt already.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, for me, it's like, what is the point of thinking about that? For me, there's absolutely no point. Like, just deal with what you have coming to you regardless.
Okay, so that's to the answer that I posed of like, have you thought about it being sin introducing aging and stuff like that? That was your answer.
Yeah.
Okay, but how about to the first part of like how beauty is in God's image? And so how, like there's a value and importance to beauty.
A rebuttal question would be, is what God sees as beautiful the same thing as the world sees as beautiful?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because he created people and we're like, then we start seeing, and we see this in trends and seasons. We're like in the 1900s, the standard of beauty is something different. Or now it's something completely different. It's probably going to keep changing. And like our version is based off of like who's more wealthy, who's more important. And so what do they think is beautiful? And then people kind of follow along. Where God's like, I made all of you guys. Like you each have a beauty because you were created by him. Right? So what I'm saying though is like that there's a importance for seeking beauty and like believing in beauty and understanding it. Now, I guess a question would be, do you believe, coming from a man, there's something wrong with like a woman, your wife in this case, or your daughter, but just women in general, like trying to look good for themselves and taking care of themselves? Like where do you see the line of like it's too vain versus like, no, you should like put yourself together?
I think my line is when you are trying to fight a losing battle. Whether it's now or 20 years from now or 30 years from now, when you're 60, 70, 80, 90, you women will eventually lose that fight. As much as you like, and I mean, if you're rich, like a Hollywood person, whatever, like they invest thousands, probably hundreds of $1,000s, like just trying to fight that battle of, I want to stay like this forever.
Yeah.
You're going to lose it eventually. And like, I mean, we've seen a lot of people like fight that battle, and the things that they do makes them look worse than what they really want to look like anyways. So my response to that is, I think the balance tips in the wrong direction when when it consumes you to fight a losing battle. I think 100%, like, make the best of what you have right now. Doll yourself up. But I think I think we all need to come to just that realization and that acceptance, whether I like it or not, my skin is going to get older. I'm going to get wrinklier. I might get cellulite. I might like, even if you like work out and stuff, you might still get cellulite. You like, like stretch marks as well. Like that's another thing. Like that you can't avoid. Like once you have them, you have them. There's no like, they don't go away. Like, does that make you less beautiful? No, it doesn't. Like, and that's the thing that really irks me about, I guess, this topic, but not this topic, just like the fact that we care so much about it. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but like, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but I really, really despise, I really just loathe the fact that all these corporations feed off of our weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And one of our weaknesses is that we want to look and be young for the rest of our lives. That's one of our weaknesses. And corporations go, awesome. I love that you have that weakness, because guess what? In all the magazines, we're only going to post what's young. We're only going to post like beautiful, perfect, immaculate skin. Whether you think it's makeup or you think it's plastic surgery or whatever, like smoke and mirrors, illusion, like, but you're going to buy into it because that's what you desire in your life, and we're going to continue tapping into that. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with voids that people have, and that's why they have these weaknesses. And it's not until they become fulfilled and become like, accept the reality of like, I am who I'm going to be. My skin is going, like, what's going to happen is going to happen. It doesn't stop me from being beautiful. Mm. You've looked at your grandma, which, you know, rest in peace, she's gone, but she was like at what did she live to, like 60 something? Mm-hmm. And every time that you saw her, you saw a picture of it, you were like, I want to be like my grandma because she's the most beautiful. And I'm assuming she didn't have anything done or whatever. Like,
no, she didn't. I mean, she would get her hair dyed like every week, but besides that.
But yeah, like, it irks me that we care this much about it, because I think it takes a lot of your mental capacity. It takes a lot of your heart capacity. You start focusing on all the things that you don't need to focus on. And then I go back to what I said before of when you get older, I think when you start maturing or whatever, you start really realizing, okay, this is where I need to start like investing my energy and my efforts. And this is where my mind should be. And this is, you know, the way that we need to go. But I mean, if the whole time you're thinking about like, oh, no, I need to go do that, you know, Brazilian butt lift over here, and I need to, you know, get the Botox over there, and like, and it's simply just, and I really hope that I'm not offending anybody, but I like, when my problem, my personal opinion is that it becomes a problem when you focus too much on that, because that's, again, a losing battle. Like, eventually you're going to get wrinkles no matter what. Like, and that time, that money, whatever, could be used to better use.
100%. No, I agree. I think I've always like struggled with, again, I'm not my like confidence. I don't think my confidence, but I think younger self, kid, teens, even early 20s, would have wanted all the procedures. Like, give me everything. Like, I want to be as the best as I can be, right? And I still, to this day, I don't think it's a sin. Like, I don't want people to walk away thinking like, if you get like lip injections or, I don't know, like there's an area that you're concerned with or whatever. Like, I do not think it's a sin at all.
I mean, it's not so long ago, like what was it, like a year or two ago that me and you were talking about it.
Yeah. And so I don't think it's a sin at all. I do think it's a gray area for sure. And the Bible gives us so much freedom. Like, we're not living by the law. And so to tell women or men, this is what you can or cannot do, like, for sure, I think that's unbiblical. But I do think it comes down to every single person, and you cannot lie to yourself and God. Like at the end of the day, you can say all the right things. This is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because of X, Y, and Z reasons. But God's going to know if you're doing it for the right reasons or not. And you can lie.
What would be the right reasons?
Good question. Good question. Maybe for their husband. That's a good reason.
As in, like, the husband requested it?
Yeah, or like he desires it.
So he requested it, is what you're saying?
That's a good reason, no?
I guess for some people.
Or like if their job is to always be on camera and they're just like, you know what? Like this thing is bothering me. I have to see it all the time. Like people and just like better, you're kind of the brand. And so with that case.
But then again, that's a corporation influencing you to do something.
Yeah, I guess. But what I'm saying is it's a gray area. Sure. And so I think for me, I'm talking about me and my journey. How I said I used to be, or maybe I am, I don't know, but like vain. And I can very easily see myself going down a spiral if I like start somewhere, you know? I haven't gotten anything done. Lip injections. I thought about it all though. I thought about the lip injections. I thought about a butt lift. Thought about a boob job. I've thought about like those, which sounds dumb, but like, I don't even know what it is. But people go in to like get their waist shaped and stuff like that. Like just all the things, like I've thought about it all. But then it's like, because I think people can use the argument of like, okay, what's that? And with like makeup and nails and getting your hair done and things like that. It's like true. It's all kind of the same category, right? And so it all comes back to like conviction. Like, why are you doing it? Even the makeup, it's like, why are you doing the makeup, right? And then it's like, if it becomes an addiction or you feel like you need it, or you make it an idol, like that's all you think about, and how you say you're putting your time and your energy, like you work and it's going to that, or you can't think of blessing others or being in front of others because you're just thinking about yourself. Like that's obviously an issue.
Yeah.
And so what was a huge like changing factor for me was my mom passing. And I've talked to you about this and those closest to me, that if I didn't go through that, if my mom was still here, I probably would have done like all the procedures and be like, who cares? But like her dying made me realize like what a gift. Like she was so young when she died. And so what a gift it is to age, and how like people who are like, I might cry. I always cry, but you like those clips. You put them on the...
Kid, you don't have to announce it. Just say what you're going to say.
I have to announce it. I don't want to cry. Like I see people around her age, and then like her friends too, who were like her age, and then like seeing them age, and I'm like, I wonder how old, like how she would have looked, you know, like, or like my titi Joanna, like she's beautiful and she resembles she didn't look exactly like my mom, but like you can tell they're sisters. And I'm like, oh my goodness, she's getting older, but like she's so beautiful. And again, even my grandma died like fairly young for a grandma, and she passed away a couple years after my mom. And so seeing like two women that I loved like not reaching their full potential with age, I think just messed me up a little bit in a good way. But it's like, if I can get, my mom was about like 44, I think, if my math is correct. Like if I can get there, I feel like I'm getting closer to her age than I was, like the age I was when she passed away. And so it's like, it'd be such a blessing. And then if I can get to like Mamaita's age, because I saw a post on TikTok and it was like those moms who have their mom, like how does that feel? Like I can't, like she obviously went through a loss. She's like, I can't even imagine like how it is to be a mom with your mom. Like you are so blessed. And Mamaita and my mom had that. Like I'm so glad my mom had that, because obviously I didn't have it, but she was able to, like I saw how she was with her mom and they loved each other, always laughing, having fun. How my grandma was with us, like spoiling us, loving on us. And so I'm like, if I can even be like as blessed as Mamaita to see grandkids, like I'd be so happy. And so they were two beautiful women inside and out, which I feel like is the most important. Like, obviously, like that's going to fade, but when they laugh, when they smile, when they reach out, like, do people feel the beauty? Like, people like were mesmerized by them, not because of their beauty. Like, it wasn't like this movie magazine beauty, but it was like they just exuded, like, we're at peace, we're at rest, we're confident in ourselves, and we extend that to you and ask you to join in our like happiness. And so that's like now like the beauty that I want to be like when people look at me, that I'm joyful and like, this is a woman who loves her life, who's enjoying her life, who like wants to invite others in their life. And so I told myself, because again, I was very vain, and I thought about like, oh, I want the Botox, I want to prevent the wrinkles. And then I'm just like, I'm going to choose. And it's not easy. It's something like you have to choose, where it's like, I'm going to choose to see the wrinkles and be like, God, thank you, because I'm here. Thank you because I'm laughing with my kids. Thank you because even running, I'm in the sun a lot of the time. And that's going to make me age faster than my friends who are indoors. Like, it's just a reality. Like, the sun naturally ages your skin. And so even like running, I feel like I haven't thought about my wrinkles that much until I've been running. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I'm going to age faster because of the sun.
That's not necessarily true.
I feel like it is. I'm just in the sun so much.
No. Look. Running for 5 days a week can reduce cellular aging by 9 years.
Yeah, but the wrinkles with the sun, tell them running outside.
Can reduce cellular. What do you think is in your skin cells by 9 years?
Okay, well, point is, I've been thinking like, okay, I'm in the sun, and I'm going to get like sun damage, whatever.
Put sunscreen.
But then I'm like, you know what? Like, if running's going to make me healthier in the long run, like, I'd rather look all wrinkly, but then be like healthy enough to have the energy to be with my kids and my grandkids and do all the fun activities and stuff like that. And so I've been choosing every time I see like, oh yeah, I see like I'm getting older. I'm choosing to be seeing the good in it, because you can look in the mirror and be like, yeah, like I'm getting older, and be like, I'm getting older, and I'm going to choose to remind myself of why I made this commitment with myself. Because I know it doesn't make me godlier. It doesn't make me better than thou for those who don't. It doesn't make me like I'm not getting a benefit, but I'm choosing to be at peace with it and seeing the gratitude that I am alive, and I'm going to make it, God willing, to my mom's age and my grandma's age and past it. And like how you said, like for my daughter, like I think the first conviction where God convicted me was like my mom's and my grandma's passing. And then the second is like my daughter. Like, I want her to look at me and be like, my mom is happy in the body that she is, and that I'm grateful. Because I do think we are the temple of God, and we've talked about like what that entails, like being good stewards. And so I do think like wearing the sunscreen, like putting on the makeup, getting ready, like it's part of like our temple. But when it just stays within us, like that blessing, and we're just over fixated and it becomes an idol, like how does our temple look? Mm-hmm. That is a sin in itself. And so like finding that balance is hard as a woman, 100%. It's not like easy, because even then I'm like, okay, there's certain things where I'm not going to say never, but I've thought about like, what if thank God I have not gotten a lot of white hairs. I think we found one like when I was 29, and I have not found another one since. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, thank God I haven't found white hair, but I'm like trying to think, okay, if I do get it, am I going to dye it all the time? Am I just going to try to embrace it? Like, how would I feel if I embrace it? And so I don't want to say I'm not going to dye my hair, because I don't know how I'm going to feel at that moment. But I just don't want to be afraid of aging. Like I don't want to. And when I gave birth to my my son, I had no stretch marks the whole time. But as soon as he came out, like they just all appeared at once. And I remember the first thought, I was like, this is my mom's belly. Like she had the exact same stretch marks, like the circle ones. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my mom's belly. And I chose to like look at it and embrace it and be like, I have the honor of being a mom now, and I can be a mom like her. And even if I just reach a little bit of her, like I feel like I made it as a mom. And so I've decided, okay, these stretch marks aren't going away. And then I remember with the Raya, I felt like my stomach, I didn't know at that time, but I had hysterectomy, so my stomach was like more like pudgier. And I'm never going to forget when Elijah was like, Mom, I guess my belly was showing. And he's like, Mom, he's like, oh, your belly, I love your belly. And he just like, I think he liked how soft it was or something. And he just like touching it. And I'm like, and I remember thinking that day, like, oh, my belly looks so bad. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to like, quote unquote, bounce back, which I'm at my healthiest now. And my belly, it will forever look like I gave birth to 2 kids. Like there's no erasing that. But again, it's like, how are you going to choose to see that? Are you going to choose to be like, oh, this is full of stretch marks, stretchy skin, like this is ugly? Or are you going to choose to see it as God allowed me to carry my kids to full term? They were both healthy. I had, thank God, like great labor, and like I didn't have a traumatic labor and delivery. They're here. I'm here. Like we're fine. We're healthy. And I think that's how life is, right? It's like a perspective. Like how are you going to see the situation you're in? Are you going to see it as like the negatives? Like, oh, because the reality is life is full of brokenness and sin entering and things how it wasn't supposed to. But even in that broken world, are you going to see what God is like, how he's redeeming it, how he wants you to view it? And so, yeah, I feel like that's something I'm always have to be intentional about when I look in the mirror and be like, yeah, the reality is I am aging.
You kind of answered it, but I don't think you know that you answered it. So I'm going to ask it either way. You talked about the confidence of your mom and the confidence of your grandma and Mamaita. First question is, what do you believe made them that confident? And B, second question, do you think they also struggled with those thoughts of, I'm getting older?
100%. The only way I know they struggled with those thoughts, at least for Mamaita, mind you, she was like a beauty queen. Like she always had to have her hair black. Like, and I think the older you get, like the more often you have to do it. I don't know if she was doing like weekly and stuff like that. And she passed away because of Alzheimer's. But one of the things is like they always made sure like when they went to visit, like when she was not doing things on her own, that like her hair was dyed, you know, to like the very end, like, okay, we could dye her because that was so important for her to dye her hair. And then another thing was like her mascara. She's like, I always wake up before Papaito and I put on my mascara so he can see me and like all dolled up. And I'm like, I remember thinking like every day, like for your whole life, like that's intense. But it wasn't, I didn't see it at that moment as like, gosh, they're afraid of getting older, but of just like, this is what makes me feel like beautiful. And I didn't see it as like a wrong thing. And I don't think it's like a wrong thing to hold on to. And for my mom, honestly, she didn't show it that much because again, she was very simple. And so I didn't see her like afraid of aging. I'm sure she had like, she's a woman, a natural woman. So I'm sure she had those thoughts. But I think the confidence like that they just carried themselves with, honestly, I think it's like the joy of the Lord. They both knew like what was important in life, and it was always like God and like family. They always valued family. They always valued like community, like being community for people, showing love to people. And so I think just like love, as like corny as it sounds, like God says like the main commandment, the only thing that matters. Like you can have all these gifts, you can be doing it right with beauty, without beauty. You can be prophetic, speak tongues, give money to the poor, like all of it. But if you don't have love, it doesn't matter. Like those two women had so much love for anyone. Like they saw strangers and family members and they treated them the same, and you could feel that, and it was genuine. So I think genuine love gave them that beauty that was like radiating.
I also think, and this is just my opinion, but I also think that they knew who they were and they knew what they had done. And I think when you like, I feel like you worry about the things that you shouldn't worry about when you haven't really done anything. And you're like, at the very least, I need to take care of the outside to look like I've done something, to look like I am somebody. And I feel like when you do accomplish, like you said it yourself, like that you got the stretch marks, but like your perspective was, I'm a mother, like, and I gave birth naturally, and I've done, like, I did this twice, and like, although like with Araya, you had like the diastasis recti, whatever, like you said your perspective was like, I'm grateful that I got to do this, like. And I think when you start having that perspective, the roots of who you are really start laying down. And then it's just like, yeah, like I'm going to age, and yeah, like I think it's normal for, I guess, more women. I think some men deal with it as well, but like it's normal for you to look in the mirror and just like, man, I'm looking older, But then it'll shake you less if you know who you are. And that also transfers over to like what you said before as well. You're like, I'm finding myself caring less about what people think. Why is that? Because you know who you are. When you're insecure of who you are, people's opinions matter a lot to you. When you are secure about who you are, when you know what you have, it's just like, okay, yeah, like I'll listen to it maybe, and I'll take it into consideration, but like I'm not going to let it affect me because I know who I am. And I think maybe that's where part of where they got their confidence from. Because, I mean, your mom was a powerful woman. She came from Mamaita. Mamaita always carried herself very confident and, like, happy. Like, I'm sure that she was, like, you think about everything that you've gone through, and I think maybe they never said it, but I think your mom, if she never preached about it, she eventually would have, of, like, I'm getting older and I might be getting like wrinkles and stuff, but that's only a sign of everything that I've been through and everything that I am.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. Like, I mean, like a warrior goes into battle and gets a scar on his face. Like he doesn't like, oh no, I need plastic surgery. It's like, it's a sign of like, I've been in battle. Like I've done this thing. Like, so what if I have a scar on my face? Like it is what it is.
Yeah. And I wonder, because there's a lot of women pastors, like Lisa Revere, I think that's her last name. And again, that Eldridge, I forgot her name, but the couple, right, that did Captivating, where they talk about how like the enemy like targets women in certain areas way more than men. And I do feel like the enemy tries to target us in this area. And I wonder if it's because how I was mentioning as you were talking, like Mamaita and my mom, they genuinely loved so much. And so I feel like they were thinking about others like constantly. Like, how can I serve others? How can I show people that I love them? Make them feel warm and welcomed. And if the enemy can make us feel less confident or vain, just worried about ourselves, like then he can easily make us be so hung up that we're not being light or loving and reaching out to people because we're just worried about our outer appearance. Because I do think there is like at least like a war on women. Like it's not, and this has been happening hundreds of years. I feel like even the rhetoric around it, like when men age, they're like, like fine wine, like, oh, the salt and pepper, like, they always say like men age better with age. And you see like the way they talk about Brad Pitt and George Clooney are not like the way they talk about like other older women. Then they see the older woman who used to be beautiful and they're like, wow, you could definitely tell like her age now, like she's aging. They could be like the same age. They're like now washed up or used or whatever. And that sucks. Like it sucks that like men either don't have to worry about it or like if they're worried about it, like people don't make it such a big deal versus women are always trying to like cover their grays and men are like embracing it, and women are like care about the wrinkles. And again, men are like embracing it. And so part of me too is like we all know based off the last episode, if you saw it, that I can be prideful and like stubborn. And I think part of me like wanting to embrace my natural beauty is because so many people are not. that like the rebellious me, that I guess a challenger, because I am a challenger. We read the book, The 7 Frequencies. The challenger in me, like the prideful one in me, is like, nah, you say like a woman can't be beautiful. Like I'm gonna show you that. And I don't think I'm gonna be visually beautiful, but I think accepting it and being confident in it will naturally show people like, wow, there's like elegance about her. Or there's like a beauty about her. Like she just carries herself like she believes it. And so I think that part of me is like trying to like go against the standards of like everyone around me. And they say like women can't be beautiful at that age. And I'm just like, I'm gonna try to prove them right as natural as I can, you know? And so that's also it. Like, I'm like, it's not fair that men can age and look hotter with years and like women, we're not, and we're afraid of it. And we have to do so much more work. And I'm like, it's not fair. And so I'm gonna try my best.
It's not entirely true that men look better as they age. I could show you millions of men that do not look better with
but I
age.
think like the Hollywood, you know, like the California, this like society.
Like a man that takes care of themselves, maybe.
Yeah.
But like most Americans don't really take care of themselves. And that's also the problem. I mean,
yeah.
I just read the thing about running. Like if you're active, that helps with like anti-aging or whatever, or like slowing it down at least. If you're hydrating, if you're taking all your vitamins and blah, 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 blah. Like the list goes on and on. Collagen, this and that. But at the end of the day, again, like we live in the world that we live in. Like we have the cards set on the table. We're going to age. And just to touch on it quickly, like, yeah, I think guys do think about it. Like they think about the wrinkles. They think about the gray hairs. Like as much as you say like, oh, you say that the whole like salt and pepper is because you like guys with salt and pepper. But there's some guys that you know.
I know who you're talking about.
That dye their hair. And it's like there's some guys who think about it. And I don't know. I personally, again, this is just my personal opinion, how I manage my life. I don't think I'm ever going to care. Like,
That's good.
It's going to happen. Like, big whoop. Like, take it or leave it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's much better places for you to invest your mental capacity and your financial capacity and your
100%.
efforts and all that stuff.
And I think another reason why I care, which I feel like you saying this gives me relief. I'm not saying like you're like a vain guy, but you hear so many like stories on social media, like horror stories, right? You're obviously going to see like the worst or the best of how like men, when they're older, they will leave their old wife for like someone young. And I'm like, you had me when I was 19 years old. And I was like, I always tell you that, like, babe.
You constantly remind me.
I'm
We're
like,
going to be 75. And I'm like, you had me when I was 19.
Like, you had me at 19. Like, I was young. I was like at my peak. Like, my body was good body. You know, like you had me before I breastfed my kids for 5 years. I breastfed kids. Like, you had me when my body was like good. And I feel like it was good for like so short because I got pregnant so young, and, you know, like what they do to your body, you know, like they age you way faster. And so I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, is he going to remember me at like that age and then just be like, now, like, you know, like the comparison now. And so I think that's another part of it. It's like, I always want you to, like, you always want to please your man and just, but I'm like, he's comparing me to like not that you are, but like my 19-year-old self.
I want you to know, I've never thought about, man, this is what she looked like at 19. I've never.
I miss how I looked at 19.
I've never. And for me personally, again, this is just my personal story, my personal journey. My opinion is, for me, it's always going to be an emotional connection versus a physical one.
Yeah, and I'm grateful.
Because, like, I mean, you were worried. I remember after you gave birth, you were worried about what you looked like. And I was just like, homegirl, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you're still attractive to me, you know? Like, I still love you. Like, for me, it's always going to be, and that's why I'm confident, and that's why I wish that you could be more confident, and I hope that you get there. And I'm sure that with time,
age.
with age, yeah. that you never have to worry about it. Like, yeah, like I get 100% what you read in that book, but the average book, Captivating, right? I remember you speaking about that book, and you were talking about in that book, it talked about using your femininity, being feminine, taking care of yourself. And like, I'm 100% for it, but I never want you to be like, I need to wear makeup or else my husband's going to think I'm disgusting. Like, that's not true. And I mean, I hope over the years you've known that. And I think you might have mentioned it once or twice, whatever. But yeah, like for me, like I'm always going to just, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just going to see you. Like it's me and you. Like I said, I'm the type of person that sees all the cards on the table and like, it is what it is. Like I've accepted that me and you are both going to look older.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that now taking a little bit of your perspective that we get to do it together.
Yep. And our marriage is getting better with the years, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. And I hope every man thinks that, because I know if they're like vain and, like you hear like the horror stories of like men liking women's posts and like, like their feed being beautiful women and their wife is just like, hello. And then they start casting their wife aside after kids and stuff. And then they get divorced. I'm like, that is so heartbreaking and so sad. So I wish like every man thought the way you thought. And I think I'm so blessed.
But in that regard, I feel like it takes two. Because now we're going to shift a little tiny bit, but just hopefully just for a split second. You don't get to the spot that me and you are at, or where at least where I'm mentally at, where I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like I know you're going to age or whatever, and I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to find you attractive. Everything's going to be fine. Mm. You don't get to that place without two people working on a relationship. Mm. Because part of the reason I think a man might do what you're saying they do is because he goes like, I don't trust this woman. I don't feel like that she loves me. Like she's always nagging me. Like there's always like fights or whatever. There's not a unity. And so he goes like, why am I going to put up with this? Like, oh, like I have this more younger, beautiful woman, like, giving me attention. Like, yeah, then the grass really starts looking greener on this side. Mm-hmm. But like you get to the point that I'm at or we're at, that happens through two people working together, loving each other, having trust between each other, knowing that we have each other's backs, knowing that it's ride or die, knowing that, we're going until we're 85, 95 or whatever. Like, yes, you only get there with that work.
I love you.
I love you too.
And so, yeah, I hope you guys see the dilemma that I have in my head of like, I obviously as the woman care about what I look like, but then pushing back against you. It is again, something you have to be intentional. We've talked about that, like being better in all areas of life is not going to just happen because every day passes by and because you're getting older. Like life keeps going on, whether you like it or not. And you have to make the conscious decision of, okay, how do I want to live my life? And so I know something, just how my brain works and how I'm wired, like I'm going to have to be very intentional about how I look at myself and be, what am I choosing to focus on? Mm-hmm. And we've talked about focus. Like what you focus on is going to be bigger, that there always going to be things you can look at that are going to be negative 100%. And so like, what are you looking to focus on? And I truly believe that my time, my attention, my resources, like we've talked about, be blessed to be a blessing. And I feel like I'll be doing a disservice to myself, to my kids, to people around me, to society, saying like, I think there's an issue with aging. Because the reality is, yes, I do believe like a young woman is probably going to be more beautiful than a older woman, because I think, how I said, like sin. But I think an older woman who is fully confident in herself and who has the joy of the Lord is going to be so much more captivating than a young woman who's just beautiful because in her beauty's sake. The Bible tells us that all the time, that it's like when the inside beauty that counts and will be in the outside. And so I'm choosing to make a statement with my natural beauty and my embracing it, because I hope that like women see that there's more to life than that, that it's such a blessing to age, because it is. Like every day is a gift and shouldn't be taken for granted. And I want to spend every day not thinking about myself all the time. And so thank you for having this conversation with me. Thank you guys for tuning in. And like always, if you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this to someone, and feel free to have a debate. What do you think about investing in your beauty? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I get spas and facials. I have makeup on. But when do you think it's too far? Do you think there is a point? We would love to hear other points of views. And so, yes, thank you for tuning in. Until next time. Bye.
See ya.